Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds in the studio bright and early Tuesday morning. Obviously, a lot of close games this year. I personally don't think there's cause for concern. Your thoughts?
I do. I think the Chiefs had better be concerned. Now, admittedly, hey, look, they're 10-1 on the year. 10 wins, 1 loss. Best team in the NFL, in my opinion. Others have differing opinions. They seem to think that Detroit and Philadelphia and people of that caliber are maybe a few hairbreadths atop the Chiefs. I don't think so. I think the Kansas City Ball Club is. But there are signs of problems with the Chiefs. The 5 sacks that Mahomes suffered against a Carolina Panthers team that isn't very good, and the fact that Bryce Young had a big day, 21 of 35 against a Chiefs backfield that is giving up, is being sliced and diced, and you've got to understand that. Panthers aren't very good, but some of the teams forthcoming are, and while they are not at the Chiefs level, people like the Las Vegas Raiders coming in for Black Friday, and they beat the Chiefs in Kansas City on Christmas Day last year. It is possible. And there are any number of others, including some of the also-rans who are still playing. The Chiefs played the Chargers last game of the season out in L.A. So, again, yeah, I think the Chiefs have to be concerned about this. And now you tell me that the kicker has a pulled hamstring. Good Lord almighty. Where does it all end?
Well, hopefully we'll get a little bit of a breather sometime. But again, it's Raiders week, and the Chiefs have got to deal with those guys at home on Friday. So college basketball's 2 national champs are upset same day. You couldn't have wrote this, man.
It is kind of a storybook thing. Here's UConn, Connecticut Huskies, a very good basketball team. They're playing in these holiday tournaments. And now Connecticut, because they are a highly regarded team, they play in Maui, and the tournament has returned to Maui after 1 year on Oahu because of the terrible fires they had in Maui. But anyway, the tournament's returned there, and Connecticut was upset by Memphis yesterday by 2 points, 99-97 in overtime. That's a bit of a surprise, although Memphis is not all that bad a team. And then the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks, the number 1 team in the country, had their 43 game, get this, 43 straight victories, had that snapped by UCLA out of the Pauley Pavilion in Los Angeles. And it was big time. It was a blasting, and Dawn Staley, the coach of South Carolina, not very happy with this. Anyway, here are the 2 national champs to get knocked off within the same 24-hour period. How often does that happen? And the answer is not very.
Good thing it's basketball, not football, because most of these teams would be really down in the dumps because they might not be getting that bowl game they want. But unfortunately for football, and I guess fortunately for basketball, it's all done in tournaments. Speaking of which, we've got some winter baseball meetups. Is that right?
These are the big baseball winter meetings, and they begin on December the 8th, so that's another week and a half away. And, Mike, these are key. They're holding them this year in Dallas, and it's key because this is where all the owners, the general managers, all the officials with the ball clubs all get together, and they'll be talking trade, talking free agency, talking deals that can be made. There will probably be a number. I'm really interested to see what the Cardinals do and how they're able to restructure their roster and what they do with some big-name players. Nolan Arenado's name has been kind of held out as bait by some team. The rumor was that Philadelphia was really after him if the Cardinals would take some of Arenado's salary, which they are not likely to do. But over and above all that, there are names being dealt around, and it'll be a big time. That's coming up in about a week and a half. Dallas is where they're holding them this year. December 8th is when it starts.
Big early season test for the basketball Bears on the court down in Cayman. How'd that go down?
It was a terrific struggle, an excellent basketball game. Now, the Bears are playing Boston College last night. This is part of the Cayman Islands Classic. Boston College, Mike, is an Atlantic Coast Conference team. ACC is one of the major basketball conferences. That's Duke and North Carolina and Miami and Florida State and Clemson and all these people. That's the Atlantic Coast Conference. Where Boston College falls in the scheme of things, I must admit, I don't know. I doubt that they're very highly regarded in the ACC, but they are in that league. The Bears played them to overtime last night in Cayman. and the Bears had a chance to win. Boston College was up by 11 points midway through the second half, and the Bears rallied. This is a scrappy Bears team that Conzo Martin has out on the court. They play very good defense. They get in your face, and they force turnovers and force fouls. The Bears stayed close by really hitting well from the foul line last night, and that made the difference. But what also made the difference in a negative way was three-point shots. Boston College hit 8 of 10. The Bears were 3 of 15 from long distance, and that's eventually what cost them in overtime. A BC player named Strong hit a three-pointer with about 4 seconds to go, and that was the difference. 76-74, Boston College beat the Bears. I thought this was a credible performance by Conzo's team, and one that I think bodes well for them for the coming season. Now, there's one more game down there, and the Bears play today at 4 o'clock. I love this, too. Who are they playing? You can make a comparison. Last Saturday afternoon, South Dakota State was here to play the Bears in football. South Dakota State significantly better than Missouri State. Basketball is a different story. The Bears are significantly better. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see the Bears take the basketball jackrabbits and run them right out of the Cayman Islands. I hope that happens. That'll be 4 o'clock this afternoon is that final game. Then Missouri State comes home and resumes the regular schedule.
Well, good luck to them. Last night, it was kind of a torn allegiance match. If you're a Chiefs fan, are you rooting for the Ravens? Are you rooting for the Chargers? I mean,
are you rooting for the Hardballs?
Are you rooting for anyone? Well, it was the battle of the brothers, and it looks like the older one is victorious. Is that right?
the team is. Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens were able to outlast the Los Angeles Chargers. This is the second game in 24 hours that was played on SoFi Stadium. I tell you, they're using that baby. It's a great stadium, great place, but they're really using it to the hilt. Los Angeles Rams played Philadelphia there on Sunday night, and last night the Ravens and the Chargers. Ravens win by a score of 30-23. It really wasn't quite that close. L.A. tried to stay close in the end, but they couldn't get over the hump. Baltimore's the better team. Ravens have a nice ball club. Chargers have one that's still in contention at 7-4, but they're falling farther behind the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs get the AFC West without too much more difficulty, but they better watch their step. That's the problem coming up.
That includes on Friday against the Raiders at home. All right, critical college football national championship rankings coming out when?
They come out later this afternoon or early this evening, and Mike, they are critical. There are 6 of these rankings that come out. This is number 4. And it's going to undergo a shift because you had some big losers last week. Alabama, do they get knocked out of it? Keep in mind now the top 12 teams are the ones that make the playoffs. The others, they get good bowl games out of this, no question about that. But all those teams are vying for a spot in the top 12, and which will eventually, they hope, lead them to a national championship. How's that going to work? Well, it's all dependent on what these rankings are. These are the official rankings. It's put together by a committee of 13 people, and what their decision later on today, well, there's still 2 more after this, but time is a-wasting. We'll see what happens.
Ned, you have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you tomorrow.